Hey everybody, welcome to Copi Cafe episode 59. You got Rob Greig here and Josh Jones with Cornucopias game. And for those of you who might be new, not know what we are, who we are, and what we're doing, we are building an MMO RPG game that's got a variety of lands that are floating in bubbles over the earth that have a different curated experience in each one of those. Eventually, we'll have community created content in those lands as well, and a lot of good stuff happening. We're at the status of being very, very, very close to launching our Cornucopias game with special access to the Toledo Racing Valley. So we're all very excited. Things are getting tidied up, and we're buttoning everything up, and a lot of great things happening. So in this episode, be prepared. We're going to talk a little bit about XRP. We're going to talk about the T3 Mint review. We're talking about the Racing League, the launcher, a survey we're doing with the OGs, and community questions, of course, and then, as always, the leak. So, Rob, what are you drinking today?
Well, seeing as you were celebrating last week, I thought I would follow tune, and I too have a beer, Guinness,
Guinness.
with a
Cheers.
twist.
All
But
right.
are you ready? Are you ready? It's one of those horrible 0% ones.
That's my kind of beer, man. I also am celebrating with a non-alcoholic beer today. Cheers.
Last time I opened one of these, it went all over my PC.
It is an epic, epic day for crypto. Well, actually, at the time of you guys seeing this, that's a good looking head on that beer there. At the time of you guys seeing this, it's obviously pretty old news, but we have to talk about it
Breaking news for
because
us.
the XRP Ripple case against the SEC, the SEC has lost and Ripple won the case. It is not a security. This is enormous news for those of us in crypto. The markets have clearly responded. And, the black eye of what is going to happen with this case. I mean, that created so much uncertainty for so many people in the markets. Investors that just they don't want to get near this XRP deal because they don't know, or they don't want to get near crypto because it seems so sketch. This is just, it's a big win for our industry. So I'm very happy about it. It's a big win for Cardano as well. And ETH and so many other layer ones that were in a similar kind of setup in a variety of ways. Probably quite a bit more decentralized, even as ADA, obviously, with what Cardano's done with ADA. But overall, I'm incredibly pumped about that. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's been one of the biggest cases that has just been going on forever, years and years
Since 2020.
really, yeah. It seems longer than that, but
That's because crypto years feel like about 10 years for one
yeah,
regular year.
it's
So,
been a long time. So yeah, I mean, it's breaking news where we are filming today on the Thursday, but yeah, let's see how it pans out. But I mean, this could split everything open, wide open. I mean, conspiracy theorist people might have something to say. This is convenient timing with everything else that's happening with the SEC and everything else, but who knows? Who knows it? As long as it's positive
yeah, I
for us.
mean, you've got things like BlackRock, Fidelity, Citadel,
Yeah,
all of these trillions of dollars asset managers that are filing for Bitcoin
yeah.
ETFs and all sorts of stuff. So, one could make a variety of conclusions on the battle of old school money and new school. And I would
Well,
say that,
it is
huh?
funny how you get tons and tons of good news stories at the same time, or tons and tons of bad news stories at the same time, and it's
Yeah, wonder
who
why that
knows.
is.
We've been there and we've seen it before, but it looks like a year out from the Bitcoin halving, this is a really good time for this to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very good time for this to happen. Um, And yeah, just exciting to have that albatross
I
off
will
our
drink
neck.
to that.
Yeah.
Non-alcoholic.
Cheers. Congrats to XRP for enduring the long battle
Yep.
with the SEC, hundreds of millions of dollars, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Won't get that back, will they?
something nutty there that was spent on legal fees. But the good news, to sum this up, and we'll move on to the next subject. That was a ruling from a United States court that the SEC is not a security. So this wasn't a change in tune from the SEC, like all of a sudden they're being more friendly. No, this was a ruling from the court, and that will result in new uh, game plan for the SEC, I'm
Yeah.
guessing. But
Well, they'll all start getting listed again now, won't they? Were they all delisted all over the
oh
place?
yeah, many exchanges had dropped them almost
Yeah.
instantaneously back in 2020 when that occurred. I remember when that happened. I shorted it right away, but uh, hey, like it was 2020 and things were different then, and
Yeah.
I was in a different position in life, and um, wasn't working on cornucopias, obviously, but
Yeah.
that.
Me too.
Um,
I think I learnt my lesson about holding bags. I think XRP was that bag.
oh no, shoot.
No, I dropped
Well,
it. I dropped it pretty quick at a loss.
it's I think it's going to be a quick turnaround with these exchanges because they see the potential volume. So the faster they
Mm.
can relist it, the more volume they're going to get. And
Yeah.
so I would imagine there's a race of exchanges to relist, but I don't know what kind of a complexity they have to relist, whether it's just flipping a switch
Yeah.
or what it is. But anyway, we can move on now. So the T3 review. We had our first sale since the end of last year, which was a small sale with the cheeky racer suit. We now did another
Bobblehead.
vehicle sale, the T3.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on it?
Um, I think it was really successful. What we wanted to do with the OG Mint and with the T3 was fill out our lineup of vehicles for the upcoming racing league. So in that instance, it was an absolute massive success. We did kind of our tech let us down a little bit. We kind of shot ourselves in the foot because we'd spent so much time trying to make the mint friendly for everyone and restricting everyone, so it'd be fair, that we'd built into this parameter that you could only mint one per person per tier, and this was a completely different mint to in the past. We'd had masses of people, and that was okay. This time we had few people. Well, still a big demand, but all those people wanted to get multiples, and our technology didn't allow them to do that, and we didn't have the tools to open it up either. So that's why we had to open up more tiers quickly to give them a chance, because they were saying, "Look, we want more," and we just couldn't help it. So we shot ourselves in the foot. Had we been able to have, say, 2 or 3 sales per tier per person, then I think we would have sold out almost instantly. But it's one of those things that we
Had
got
we
the
waited
vehicles
another
out there. That
24
that was the
hours
main thing.
for the XRP news, who knows? But yeah, the market has been, we've seen a lot of liquidity shifting away as is standard for the bear market. So there's that, but there's also some people that have expressed the um, desire to, and rightfully so. So all of you that have complained that we're doing another sale and we should be releasing the product, we 100% agree. This was one of those things where we're trying to time the two, and originally it was we had it planned out quite well, but we've just ran into so many last minute problems, which is standard for any kind of software development, standard for game development. It's hard to really perfectly estimate the timeline, but you got to plan all these things in advance. And so we did our best. And you're right. So those of you that have that complaint, our desire is that you are playing the game as soon as possible, and that we were going to run the sale shortly after that. but it just didn't work out that way. So we do hear you, and it is 100% part of our plan. And we don't expect many more vehicle mints in the near future for quite a while. And so, we want to get this game live. And that's going to be what creates the future demand for more in-game content. That doesn't change my tune on what I've said with traditional gamers. Traditional gamers have a high expectation of content and lots of content. And so that means, yes, there will be more vehicle mints, but we're not going to do that until there is sufficient demand from the game being live. So that's kind of where our take is on that, which takes, hopefully takes your concerns, community concerns into consideration there.
Yeah,
But yeah, I thought the mint went great. I was very happy with it. The tech went incredibly smoothly. We've now a huge success to celebrate. We have three vehicles to race in the A class when we
yeah.
launch the game. So.
We introduced the corn points as well, so that gave us the ability to have a 24-hour mint at the start, which
Yep.
went down really well with I've had lots of feedback from some Australian people and some New Zealand and over in that neck of the world. So they were really happy that we were doing that. Some of them were crazy and they still stayed up till 2-3 in the morning just to be part of the experience. But yeah, I mean, for that, it did give us that new addition. It's a shame, like I said, we were limited, which was unfortunate. But yeah, I thought it was a huge success for what we wanted to do to get all those vehicles there ready now for the racing league. And if we are receiving, we did say it was going to be very close timing wise. We should be receiving the first build that will go out to the public tomorrow. So we're going to test that heavily tomorrow and the weekend. And then I think on Monday, we will distribute that to a very small group of people. But yeah, so officially testing will start on Monday. And I think that is going to be for the resort area, because we're rolling this out in stages. And if that's okay, so the launch is okay, the API is okay, the roles are working, and then quickly following that, we'll then move on to the racing track as well. So we're days away now. Well,
the launcher was ready to launch on Monday.
Yeah.
And the only reason we haven't released it to the public right now is because we're waiting on a signing certificate that's basically, we have to prove that we are who we say we are. It's the certificate that says this is trusted, these guys have been verified, and that's just taking way longer than we thought it would take. We started on it earlier last week, and they've got us jumping through hoops. Now, by the time of this video airing, we could have very easily decided we're going to launch without the signing certificate. I don't know. It might be live now. We'll see what happens. But the reality is, either way, it's ready. We're very close with the launcher, so that's great news there. I think next up we got the Racing League. So you want to kick us off with the Racing League discussion?
Well, the rollout plan is very small selected few, just to make sure that the install works, and we'll do that with the resort. Then we're going to open that up to more. So we're going to go through the OG group. Then we'll go to Mythic holders, then Legendary, and we will work ourselves down the rarities. So they'll be going in the resort and they'll be racing. And then when we're happy with all that, and we've ironed out some bugs, because the only thing you guarantee in software is that it will contain bugs. When we've got through that, we will be ready for the Cornucopias Racing League. So that will have, we'll put huge marketing around that. I think, or Yeah, we will be, because this will be the official launch of the racing league. So we'll put a lot of effort into that, and I think it's going to be exciting. Do you want me to talk about the format of that, or leave that for a later show?
Well, I mean, the idea of the racing league is creating the ability for it's not as it's a step towards esports. It's not esports just having a
Yeah,
racing league, but like it's a step towards that. And yeah, so talk a little bit about the format, but we've seen this as part of the vision the entire time
yeah.
is competition and having fun. That's one of the best things in gaming. So yeah, go ahead and talk a
Yeah, I
little
mean
bit about what's
the
going on
build
there.
will only be months old. We need to get that absolutely perfected by all the testers before we actually launch the final league. So we'll have a league. We'll call it on testnet. We'll have a league on testnet. But when the league launches, we will have these initial three classes of vehicles. We'll have the C class, the B class, and the A class vehicles, and you will be entered in a series of weekly heats, should we say, qualifying rounds. So all of the racing vehicles will be involved, because they all fit in all our vehicles, because they fit in one of those classes. So let's say we have 12,000 vehicles. They will race in heat one. Then the following, so you'll race for a whole week, and you'll be racing against other players, and you'll be getting fastest times. And then we will decide how many of those people go through to the following week. We'll probably have different groups. So you'll be set in a group of maybe 400 different vehicles, and you'll race through. So those will come through. So then 400 people, say, in 10 groups, will go through. So 4,000 people at the end of week one will then qualify for week two. And then the same thing will happen week two, week three, week four. We'll whittle them down. We'll then end up with a quarter final. We'll have a semi final. And these will be, I want to say televised events, but they will be streamed, and all this kind of, people will be really interesting, because they'll be the fastest of the racers, leading all the way up to the final. And this will be happening in all three classes. So you'll have a Class A final, a Class B final, Class C final. You'll have this final race between maybe 10 players in the final, and then we'll have our first winners in each of them. And yeah, the rewards will, we need to finalize all these details, whether we give rewards to the top 10 or the top 50 or the top 100. We
Well,
will
even everything
discuss
you're
that.
announcing with the structure, this is early stages. It's not set
Yeah,
in stone,
everything
but
could change.
we're planning all of the tournament aspect of things and also in talks about the rewards aspect and all of that. So it's very exciting.
Yeah.
Um, and there is a huge part of this that we're not announcing just yet. But I hope we can announce it fairly soon. Um, we'll see. But yeah, the racing league is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
those,
and that will continue to be ongoing. So we'll do one league tournament, and then we'll do another one, and it's going to be ongoing.
yeah. I don't know what the rewards will be like when we're on testnet, but when the racing league goes live,
T
those
Ada,
rewards.
T Copi.
Yeah, yeah. Well, those rewards will be in Copi, and I think there'll be some pretty special rewards, and then that league will go on, and then that'll
Yeah,
go into esports. It's going to be such an exciting time, and the lineup of vehicles that we have looks pretty amazing.
yes, it is. I
I'll be
agree.
flying my little bubble jet.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, we've got one final thing before we move into the community questions. So that's the survey to the OGs,
Hmm.
which is going out today, I believe, and that is primarily geared around getting us prepared for testing. So this will be just our early phase. Obviously, we're going to go by NFT rarity and
Yeah.
things like that shortly after. So OGs will start, then we'll go by NFT rarity as we scale up our testing groups for the game. But what we're doing is starting to prepare to get you guys playing. And so we're sending out the OG survey for system specs. You put that survey together. Is there anything you want to say about it?
Yeah, it will have questions on there. Like I say, it'll go to everyone. Get you prepared. It'll ask you, what PC have you got? Have you got a Mac or have you got a PC? If you put a Mac, then you know we hope you've got a PC. If you've got a PC, then it'll ask you, what graphics card you've
Hey,
got,
I've
how
got
much
that.
memory you've got. Say that again, sorry.
I've got both, but go ahead. I've got a Mac, so don't be stepping on my toes, man. Just kidding.
No, I won't. I won't be. I'll be flying past you. Yeah,
Yeah,
where you are in the world. So we're leading up because obviously in early testing we're only going to have a limited amount of servers. So we'll be looking at the cards, and then as we get that early feedback, we'll then be opening that up to more graphics cards and different types, and then different parts of the world and more servers, and building up bit by bit like you do, because we don't want to take on too much to begin with. Um, and then we'll start scaling the servers with game lift, and yeah, all this is preparing for that racing league where it's when that it's going to be on fire.
I can't wait. We're getting so close. So, all right, community questions.
Yep.
Let's see here. I'll ask you if you're ready. This is from Cryptid Big. Rob, don't want to pin you. I noticed you mentioned the difference between NFT vehicles and the free one is the rewards. I'm sure this is not finalized and more of a general comment, but would you say that the first gen vehicles would have a better reward mechanic than the new ones? I understand the need for more vehicles, and I know the next mint is not the last one. Just wondering if there will always be a good reason to hold the classics compared to the brand new ones, and if you can expand on the thinking around these.
Yeah, I've had a look at some of the other questions as well. They're all very related. Should we read all those out, and then we can kind of answer it all with the same answer, I think.
Sure. Okay, let's do that. So, this is from Lulu yesterday. Please talk to us more about this. There's one thing that is unclear to me. Will the rarity of the vehicles bring special perks for their owners, higher rewards, or something else? If the answer is no, why are there so many rare vehicles? Won't they have any perks? Okay, I have a question. This is from Mr. Ferns. Okay, I have a question. I hear from Rob, rarity of NFTs will affect rewards in game, essentially giving an advantage to players with better luck or deeper pockets for what is a skin that doesn't have gameplay impacts. So I'm interpreting this as, for example, I got a T3 common. I'm racing a guy with a T3 mythic. I win. He comes second. Base rewards are 1,000 to 800. Although, because I have a common T3, my reward multiplier is 33%. So I come out with 1333, for example. But my guy in his mythic will have a 1% skin, has a multiplier of 88%. You do the math. Is this premise true? And if so, I'd like to understand how this is not pay to win. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of
Well,
words
I
there.
mean, let's those last numbers. I mean, he's clearly just made them up because we've never announced any numbers or any kind of
Yeah,
things
he was
like that.
just, that was his
Yeah,
hypothetical,
it's just
correct?
hypothetical. The Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot going on there, and again, we are working through some of this. There's two elements of it. First of all, there will be the games themselves. As you're racing, you will be earning XP. So that XP will level up your player score,
Mm-hmm.
and your player XP will also be tied to the metaverse. As you're playing the game, you'll be earning XP. So this is what we're thinking how it's going to be working. So some people will come into the game and they'll want to be racing all day, and you will earn XP, and rarity may influence. You might get a slight multiplier, a multiplier on winning, yes, but that's not against your opponent. It's definitely not play to win at all. It might mean you might level up quicker, but that's a personal
Yeah,
thing.
it's not play to win.
No, it's not play to win. It's completely normal. But then somebody else might
Pay
come
to
into
win,
the
sorry. It's
yeah
not pay to win.
somebody else might come into the game and they don't like racing, they like fishing, so they go fishing and they're earning XP that way. Somebody else might like do mining or chopping or doing daily tasks. So the whole game is going to be task based, XP based, and that's kind of like a broad overview. It's not in high detail. We have a couple of different routes that we're looking at. Remember, we're looking at machinations as well. So we're doing all kinds of modeling of how it will work. But those are
For
the
those of you
tools
that
and the
don't know
mechanics
about
that we've got.
machinations, that's a Monte Carlo game simulator modeling that runs thousands and thousands of simulations based upon all the variables that we provide that are in the game and out of the game that allow us to more correctly assess the direction that we take with some of these in-game assets. So go ahead.
Yep. So that's one element of that question. But then when we do talk about vehicles and rarity and staking, I mean, do you want to explain that side, our current thinking of what we're planning there?
Yeah, sure. So, uh, well, I can't comment on the rarity side of that just yet. We're exploring options with the rarity. But with vehicle staking, it would be something very similar to what we did with our land staking, where you would have your ADA in a certain wallet and the NFTs, the associated NFTs in a wallet. And based upon the rarity and the size or whatever, there would be a reward rate. It could be something very similar to that. Now, one thing that we are looking at doing is gradually decreasing. So the oldest vehicle would get the highest reward rate. And this is not going to be a huge amount difference. There's no way perfect solution here, but it would take care of people that have been holding for a longer period of time, and we gradually diminish over time. So the next vehicles that we launch would be less from here, and et cetera, with fuel rewards. So what I'm talking about specifically right now is fuel, staking for fuel, which will need to be purchased to run your vehicle around in the game. There will be a certain amount of free fuel or whatever, but for the most part, that's how it would. And so you guys will be very taken care of. We haven't modeled this out yet. This is very early stages. We've got to get it all figured out. So this isn't even a guarantee yet, but this is the conversation that's on the table. Love to get your feedback, guys. We always love to hear from you. But that's the conversation as it stands right now. We are thinking through that.
Yeah, and the oldest vehicles are obviously the bubble jets and the javelins. But yeah, there's stake and rewards, fuel, and also repair kits for the vehicles because we're expecting people to have a few scrapes and bumps with them. So yeah, if you can play the game without having to worry about any of that, then we think that'll be quite exciting.
Yeah.
But we haven't figured out how that's going to be claimed yet, what period, when that starts, when it stops. But we are getting a lot of questions about what we're thinking. So I think it's fair that we let you know where we're going with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we covered most of those questions.
Yep.
Unfortunately, not with a huge amount of decided clarity because there's just a good amount of modeling still needing to be done here. We have to try to make sure this works overall. And there's no perfect solution again, but we want to take care of you guys, and this is one way we'll do it with fuel rewards. So you might not need to buy fuel for a long time, or I don't know, maybe it's a few months, whatever it is, but like you're going to have a good amount of fuel that you'll be able to earn by staking your vehicles to the Copi stake pool.
Yep.
So that's not currently set up, but that's where we're headed pretty soon, and I'm excited about it. So
yeah, lots of news and information in this episode about vehicles.
Yeah. All right.
We had a vehicle leak to end on.
Yeah. Well, we don't have a vehicle leak to end on, really, but we do have a cool leak, and I'm ready if you're ready.
Let's do it. Yeah, I've not seen this.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna get it up here. There we go. Okay.
Whoa. Okay. So it is, well, not vehicle. It's racing league related. Wow. Yeah.
And it's the pit stop for the
I
yellow track.
I remember seeing like squares months ago. Wow.
Actually, this is a glimpse. This is a small portion of the pit stop. There's a lot more to
Yeah.
this. I think what you're seeing there is some seats for
Yeah. It
people
looks like
to,
a seating area, so we can sit down and watch the race. It's gonna be pretty
yeah,
noisy.
yeah, exactly. Um,
And some
real,
weird track going on there, all directions.
yeah, yeah. So just a small taste of the pit stop. There's a lot more to this. Can't wait to show you
Is
guys the rest of it. Huh?
is there a javelin down there in that pit? What is it? Is that I can't make it out. It's too small on my screen.
I'm sorry, but I can't make it out either. I'm
It
not
looks like
certain.
a vehicle though. It would be one of our
No, I
existing
can't.
ones.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Okay. Next up
Oh,
is
another one.
this one. Another. Wait.
Oh yeah, different angle of
Different
the.
angle
But
of
look
the
at the
pit stop.
architecture of that. So if that's the pit lane, yeah. So we're flying through there. I mean, yeah, and it looks like there's a building at the background. That must be another viewing tower and some more
Yeah,
seats.
viewing areas,
Yeah.
and then you can see the little bays for each of the different teams or different vehicles that are going to have their little place to go get
Something
there.
off there in the distance, and I'm going to stick my neck out here and say that this is the yellow track.
Jeez. That's whew. Yeah, that was risky. Risky assumption there. I think look, the vertical there. So you can see the vertical one.
Yeah.
Um that indicates some fun looping activity that
How's
we're
that
going to
even
have.
work? Yeah, they must crisscross each other. I do know we've got a couple of tracks that are going to be in the same area, so I don't know if this is part of the same track or another race is happening at the same time. But I mean, yeah, if you, they look pretty good seats there. I think they look like VIP seats.
Yeah. And
Another
here we
one.
go. One final image.
Oh, so that's how it works. So it is the same track.
This is the yellow track. Well, you can see part of the red track on this. This is an
Oh
over.
yeah,
This is a bird's eye view, or
yeah.
50K view type of thing. That's the entire yellow track.
Yeah, so the yellow track goes under some bridges, but that is mainly well, it's all track into it. But if I look at that red track, that goes off road for certain parts of it. The track ends, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a little more tunneling going on with the red track
Oh, is
for
that a
sure.
tunnel? Yeah. Ah, no, yeah, yeah. And at some point, I do believe we'll go through the scrapyard.
Yeah, yeah. We've talked a little bit about the scrapyard. That's another little element to our vehicle NFTs, which is when the traditional gamers they if they buy an NFT via fiat, um, what's actually happening there, and this is a beautiful model that we've come up with that I think is very innovative. The traditional gamers buy an NFT via fiat. They're actually just reserving it. It's reserving. That means we're now holding that NFT so that if one day they're motivated by the value of the NFT such that they want to convert it to an NFT and then sell it, they can do that. What does that do? That onboards traditional gamers into the Web3 space. I absolutely love that. Now, if they choose to just trade it in, then they trade it in for a discount on another vehicle, then
Mm,
that NFT that was reserved goes to the scrapyard, which
nice.
effectively means it's getting burned. So those of you who are Web3, that's pretty cool for you guys, right? So anyway, if you're Web3, you're not going to trade in that way that a traditional gamer would. But some of these guys may not be interested in that just yet. They might just want the easier path. They just want a new vehicle. So that's what we're doing there. It's a win-win for both sides, and it brings people into our industry, into crypto. And I think it's a great
I really
solution. You
like the
guys did
idea of,
give us feedback on that. You really liked it. What?
I like the idea of a scrapyard where vehicles can go. Yeah, especially if they were NFT vehicles.
Okay, good. So we've always got ideas and more ideas than we can actually execute on. But thankfully, we've done quite well executing on a lot so far, and so much more to come. Thank you guys all for listening in to and watching Copi Cafe episode 59. We appreciate you all, and to those of you in our Discord that are bringing up valid objections of things and choices that we're making. We thank you also for your feedback. We are listening, and everybody has an opinion. And in so many cases, there's just been a lot of projects in crypto that have created a lack of trust. This is why we do Copi Cafe. We want to tell you where we're at consistently. We're not aiming to get anyone or anything like that. We want to build an amazing game, and we are all about entertainment, and let's have some fun together. So thank you for your valid feedback and concerns. We try to keep our Discord as fun and toxic free as we can, but at the same time, we do appreciate those of you that bring your honest opinions. And so thank you guys for that. And thank you to our mods and all of our community for defending us as well with some of those. So it's just, let's keep it a positive. We're trying to do our best to communicate with you guys along the way. And let's have fun in our Discord together. This is a fun community. We got a lot of good things happening in the crypto industry. And again, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.
Happy racing. Bye-bye.
Happy racing.